People often say that the true journey to success is to follow your passion or follow what feels good, follow your joy. I think a lot of people get confused about that, primarily when it comes to how discipline comes into the question. Because disciplining yourself is more often than not is not joyful or easy. But as much as you need to follow your joy, you probably also heard a lot of people say that working hard and disciplining yourself is also the true path to success. As someone who hadn't had an easy relationship with discipline all my life, it was really difficult for me to follow the discipline route as opposed to follow the joy route, because I'd rather do anything that makes me happy rather than things that are hard. What I've found for myself, and maybe you will resonate with that, is that there is actually multiple types of joy. There is short-term joy, short-term pleasure, and there is the long-term one. In the process of avoiding discipline, I've really been avoiding my long-term joy. Let's say I want to do my YouTube channel as a long-term thing that I really want to pursue. And yet, right now, I really feel like what will bring me joy is watching this motivational movie on Netflix. And getting up from the sofa and filming a YouTube video is really not anywhere near as pleasurable or enjoyable as watching this movie. And that is the difference between short-term and long-term joy. If I were to think about my long-term joy, I would persevere and put my watching the movie on Netflix aside and go and do the work that's required for my long-term joy, especially if I have already scheduled it in, right, into my day. So there is multiple things that are at play, right? There is scheduling of your time to make sure that you have planned for both your long-term joy and your short-term joy, because you can't have one and not the other. And the reason why is because both contribute to our long-term happiness overall in life and long-term success, whether it's in relationships or career or health, it doesn't really matter. If you don't give yourself pleasurable things every day, or at least somewhat regularly, our brain is wired in such a way that it loses motivation very, very quickly to do anything if you don't treat yourself. At the same time, if all you do is give yourself short-term pleasure in the form of, watching TV all day, or eating your favorite food all day, playing video games all the time, it's not getting you any closer to anything long-term. For me, I know 100% that when I don't have a long-term vision for myself of where I want to be, if I don't have any plans that I'm working towards, depression starts creeping in. Because depression is very much about the past and not really seeing the bigger picture and not seeing the future, especially the future that you want to see for yourself. So it is absolutely crucial to have a vision in your mind of, even if you don't have it in details, but just have some kind of motivation inside of you of where you're going, of where you would like to end up in a year or 2 or 5, it doesn't really matter. So that's really important. And on top of that, when you're scheduling, it is important to understand your limitations, because you may schedule way too much for your own capacity. And then you beat yourself up for not reaching those everyday targets. Story of my life. So it's that play of finding that balance of pleasurable and productive and short-term and long-term And the only way you can figure out that is by trial and error. You need to be willing to make mistakes and fail and get up and try again to really figure it out. And I think this is exceptionally important for people who are whose job is within a creative field, because there's also that misconception about being inspired, right? Being guided by your joy. If you really sit down and talk to people who are professional creatives, right? Whether it's photography or art or music or, I don't know, graphic design, it doesn't matter what creative field you're in, the motivation to do things isn't always there. But if you're trying to make a career out of it, you can't rely on it being there for you. So it is even more so important to stay on top of that discipline when you are a creative, and sit down, and even if you don't want to, just doing it anyway. And when it comes to discipline, one thing that has really helped me is an affirmation that I've created for myself, which is, discipline is my friend. Discipline is there to help me. After I've created this affirmation for myself, I remember watching one of Jordan Peterson's videos on exactly this topic, and he said that you can't get work done in accordance to your schedule if you believe that schedule is your enemy, if you believe that schedule is a tyrant. And when he said that, it really resonated with me. I really did think in that moment that this is really the relationship I have with schedule and with discipline. It feels like it's a tyrant. It's something that is bigger than me and is going to crush me. And so I really had to reconfigure that relationship that I have in my mind with discipline and with schedule. And I had to say it as a mantra, discipline is my friend. Discipline is there to help me. It is not a tyrant. It is a friend, a loving friend that is there to guide me, to get me to my goals, to get me to my long-term pleasure and joy. And when you see it from that perspective, it really changes your mindset, and you really do feel that difference in your productivity. This is Self-Talk Body Soul channel. My name is Maria, and I'm thankful for you being here. Please let me know in the comments below if any of today's information resonated with you, if you took anything from it, and until next time.